How's it going, everybody? Rybread here today, and welcome back to a brand new series, which is going to be our second NHL 17 GM mode. It's probably going to be the last one for NHL 17, so let's make it a good one. I already got some teams in mind. Thank you guys so much for voting in the polls and all your comments, and I really appreciate everything that you guys have said. I've talked to quite a few people about this. I've thought about this for quite a while now. As you know, our Sabres GM mode did not end the way we wanted it to, but I have been thinking about this for a while, so I've already got my name in there. GM Rybread is stepping in, and no, boys, we're not doing the Buffalo Sabres again as much as I'd like to. We're going to go with a different team that is in a different state than the Buffalo Sabres. Now, this team is pretty much built for current success, but I think there's still some pieces that are missing that can really make this team, a serious contender, or even, maybe even turn it into a future dynasty. And I've got those ideas in mind already, but I want to show you guys the team before we get into it. I'm really excited for this team. I don't think it's a team that a lot of people do a lot, which is what I was kind of focusing on when I was criteria, and it was one of the top teams as far as polling, from the straw poll and whatnot, and what you guys have said. So, guys, the next team I will be doing is a team down in Tennessee, the Nashville Predators, baby. Go Preds, go! Jeez, I know a lot of you are saying, but Ryan, they're in the Stanley Cup. They're a good team. They're proving it. They're 2-1 in the series right now. They have a legitimate shot at winning the cup. I understand that, guys, but I do think Nashville does have some holes, and I do think I can make this team better. So I will be choosing the Nashville Predators. Again, we're not going to be doing owner mode, and we're not going to have waivers or assistant coach edit lines on. Maybe in NHL 18 I'll leave owner mode on, but it's kind of confusing sometimes. So we're not going to do owner mode for this one. We're going to keep up the straight up GM mode. I don't want to get it too confusing for you guys. So there we go, guys. There are all the settings. I'll just go ahead and hit continue so I can show you guys the final settings. I am going to leave it at 25 years. So we're going to make this 20-minute. There we go. 25 years, just because I don't know how far I want to go with this. We want superstar. There we go. Trade difficulty medium. Perfect. Yeah. That's exactly what I want. And then we want to go to advanced settings so I can get meeting notifications on, because I want to be notified when we do a team. So there we go, guys. There are all of the settings for now, and we are ready to go ahead and get into our Nashville Predators GM mode, guys. I'm really excited for this team. Like I said, I've got some ideas about this team. They are in the Stanley Cup, but I think I can take this team back to the Stanley Cup in one season and win, and hopefully in the first season. And I think we can win multiple championships with these Predators that I'm going to build. I have some ideas in mind. I don't know how much simulating we're going to get done in the first video. It may be a recap of what we have on the team. And like I said, I've got some trades in mind. I know you guys are thinking, like, how do you already have trades in mind? You just booted it up. Don't worry, guys. I did some pre-scouting. I did some things that I think are going to make this team fantastic. And I know all you Predators fans out there and everyone hopping on the Predators bandwagon, there's nothing wrong with that, because I don't mind anyone rooting against Pittsburgh is a friend of mine. So hop on the Nashville Predators bandwagon, and I'm getting on it too, and I'm going to GM this sucker to the Stanley Cup Finals again, boys. All right. So before we go ahead and get into the trades, let's go ahead and check out what we have on the roster. You know what? It's actually I'll just go into the trade screen. That's probably the easiest way for me to show you guys who is on the team and what we have as far as depth in certain places. So let's look at Nashville. As you can see, our top two players are obviously the defensive core. Make that defensive core as good as you can get. That's my mentality. Obviously, the NHL 17 simulation at the beginning of the season had Nashville coming out on top. I believe it was over the Montreal Canadiens. So EA Sports posted that. So obviously, it's not going to be the rebuild like the Sabres, because I'm not going to blow this team up, because this team is about ready. But there are some changes I want to make to this team. I did not do any editing of the roster as much as I wanted to. I just didn't think it would be fair if I edited my team to what I think the Predators should be and not every other team, because I just didn't think That would be a lot of thinking and a lot of work to do to get every team just the right way. Because I know a couple Predators fans, and they said that there's some ups and downs that should be made in the roster. But I'm going to go with what EA Sports says, because I do think it makes the Predators the most fair team to be. It's the most fair version of the Predators is EA Sports because they sleep on Nashville. Even with their fantastic season. Like, look at a guy like Victor Arvidsson. I believe he had 30 goals this year. He's listed as a second-line forward playmaker. And he's only a low top 9 potential, which means he's not getting much better. Which is really stupid in my opinion, because if the dude can score up 30 or almost 30 goals, then I definitely think he deserves to be at least a top 6. So, like, low top 6 would be the lowest I'd ever think to put him. Which is, because that's what I mean. Like, they sleep on him. But, I would make him a low top 6, but then maybe bump Josi down because I don't think he's quite a 90. Maybe he's an 88. Keep that medium elite potential. He's 26, so he's probably going to cap off. But, yeah, he did have, I just pulled up his stats. In 80 games played, Victor Arvidsson had 31 goals scored and 30 assists for 61 points and was a plus 16 this season. So definitely think that 61 points is not a third-line forward. I definitely think 61 points is a solid second-line forward, which is what a top 6 forward would be. So let's go ahead and check out the roster for you guys. Many of you probably know this roster because it's been shoved in your face and all the defensemen. So let's go ahead and check out the intricacies of the Nashville Predators. So obviously in goal we have the man himself, Pekka Rinne. Then behind him is not a lot of options. So I need to go ahead and find ourselves a goaltender of the future because Pekka Rinne is 33 and has 3 years left on his contract, but I don't know if he'll make it through all 3 of those. UC Saros, again, another guy I think is slept on a little bit. He should probably, in my opinion, be an 81, 82. With maybe medium fringe starter. I don't know if he should be starter potential. But I don't think low fringe starter in 79 suits this guy for what he's doing. Of course, now he's only 21, so he's got a lot of time to change that. But Mazanic, I believe, is their other goalie who Saros upsetted for the backup role. And, he's got the medium fringe starter, 79. Don't know a ton about this guy, but I don't know if a 79 is worth that guy either. And then there's not a lot of potential starting goaltenders in the system. We got a low backup, a medium AHL fringe goalie, and a high AHL starter down here. So not a lot of options there as far as goalies behind Pekka Rinne, but don't worry, guys. I have a plan in mind, and I will take care of that. Now, defensemen. Now, we all know this is where the Nashville Predators and the media hypes them up so much defensively. But again, EA Sports loves to hate on them and just not give them what they deserve. Of course, now having 2 90 overalls, 91 and a 90 for Subban and Josi, these 2 guys are going to be very, very huge for us as we continue here. Subban and Josi, I mean, both of them look at 92 passing, 92 offensive awareness, and then his defensive awareness is at 90, and his shot blocking and stick checking are both at 88. PK Subban is a fantastic defender. No doubt in my mind he's going to be our number 1, and it's certainly not bad to have a number 2 like Roman Josi, a left-handed defenseman with that defensive category as it is at 90, 90, 90 for defensive awareness, shot blocking, and stick checking, which is fantastic. And then the passing and the offensive awareness is also at 90, so these guys are very offensive weapons. And again, the shooting category is 4.5 stars for both these guys. The accuracy isn't quite there like you'd like to see it, but they're two-way defenders, so if they can just get us assists and shut it down, I'm fine with that. Then we have Ryan Ellis and that beautiful, beautiful beard of his. He's 25. He's our offensive defenseman on the team, 85 overall. He's a little bit on the smaller side, 5'10", 180. His physical category reflects that, which is probably why he's not like an 86, 87 in that range. But passing and offensive awareness at 87, defensive awareness at 87, stick checking at 87 as well as having a decent shot. A 4-star shot is not bad for a defenseman. So he's a pretty good, I would consider him more of a two-way defenseman than an offensive defenseman. Now, of course, in real life, he's definitely a more offensive defenseman. But as far as puck control and senses in this game, he's at an 87, which I'm fine with. He will do just fine for us. And then we have Matthias Ekholm. I believe he's Swedish. Yes, he is. So we have a Swede here on the team. His offensive stats aren't that great, but his defense, again, that defensive category is killer. I believe all like 5-star, 5-star, 4.5, 4.5. You can't argue with that walking into a team having top 4 defensemen like that. But after Matthias Ekholm, it starts to get a little bit weaker. We have Adam Party here, who's 32 and he's an 81. He's listed as a depth defenseman. He doesn't have the greatest stats. Now, his defense, of course, he's a defensive defenseman, but his defensive categories are also 4.5 stars, but he's not the kind of all-around defenseman you want on your 6th pairing. I know defensive defensemen usually are on your 6th pairing. But then we have Yannick Weber here, the offensive defenseman with pretty good defensive categories. He's just about as good as Adam Party is. He's listed as a top 6 defenseman, so I'm going to have to play this guy, Yannick Weber. And then Matt Irwin is the other man. These 3 guys are all in the low 80s, 81, 80, 80. So, like I said, their defensive categories are 4 stars, very solid. Offensively, they're not going to contribute a lot, but I think Yannick Weber is the perfect middle ground between Party and Irwin, because Irwin's got decent offensive stats, bad defensive stats. They got the same. Yeah, I just think Yannick Weber is the middle guy as he's listed here anyway. As far as contracts, he's on the nicest contract. Well, yeah, him and Party, but Yannick Weber being on 1 year at basically minimum deal, I'm okay with. Behind that, I don't see a lot of potential either. So this is a team that's in win now mode, but I don't want to give up all we have for the future to win now. So I've got to find that perfect middle ground where we do get the prospects of the future and get the draft picks, but don't sacrifice this season. Like with our Buffalo Sabres, I was able to just trade away Kane and Ellis and whoever for future players and future considerations, because we didn't really need those guys right now because we were going to tank. All right, guys, looking now to our right wing situation, James Neal, the real deal James Neal, 88 overall, exact elite power forward, first line forward, fantastic all-around player. Defensive category I'd like to see a little bit higher, but physical is up there. Shooting is great. 90 accuracy means he's going to be our sniper. One of them anyway, because we got another one. Passing and offensive awareness at 88, so he is going to get points. And then we have Craig Smith here, who seems to be a pretty good second-line forward. Maybe could slip down to that third line, depending on what we have elsewhere. But he's a very good two-way forward, as he's listed there. Defensively, very good category. Puck skills and senses, also good shooting, skating, physical. So this guy is a perfect all-around guy. But the guy that's going to upseat him in that second line, I believe, is going to be Victor Arvidsson here. I touched on him before. I think he's being slept on with his potential. He's being gypped a little bit, but you know what? We're going to have to battle through the EA rating system because this guy, he's pretty good. He's definitely a guy I'd love to have on the team. Then we have Pierre, Alexandre, Parenteau. Again, not a guy that I'm going to be thrilled about, but you got to have depth players in the system, and 83 is a perfect third-line guy for us, or maybe even a fourth line. Pretty good defensively, not very good at shot blocking, but stick check and defensive awareness are fine. He's listed as a playmaker anyway. Then we have Calle Järnkrok, 24 years of age, medium top 9, so I don't think Järnkrok should have a higher potential than Arvidsson, but I'm going to get off the Arvidsson tangent. He's pretty good. He'll be probably on the fourth line. I know he's listed as a depth forward. Then we've got Vernon Fiddler here. He's 36, not worth touching on because I don't see him having any time. Austin Watson, a medium top 9 two-way forward, another guy that listed as a fourth line forward, and he's probably going to do the checking and defensive role just fine for us. Not really going to give us a ton offensively, but then again, he is a two-way forward with pretty good defensive stats, so I'm not going to argue. Pontus Aberg, medium AHL top 6, so he could be get up close to the 80s, but I don't foresee him becoming really anything special. And then after that, not a lot to touch on. Left wingers. Now, Philip Forsberg, the sniper, the true sniper on that first line. Again, fantastic all around. He's not the physical presence like James Neal is, but the physical category is still up there. Defensive category is still up there. The shot is fantastic. The passing is great. The offensive awareness is great, and the skating is great. So, and at 22, this guy's got nowhere but up to go, guys. Like, I'm really excited to see what we can get Philip Forsberg up to, because you never see him really become that something special during your GM modes. Maybe every once in a while, but I want him to become a top player in this league. Then we have Colin Wilson, who could be on the second line, could be on the third line. A very good power forward to match with some of our playmakers and smaller guys on the team. He's 6'1", but 222, so he's got a pretty good physical presence and defensive presence there. And he's not bad offensively either. If you look at his shooting, puck skills, and senses, all relatively decent. Salamaki here, a bottom six forward, two-way forwards, 80 overall, 23. Not too bad of a player, but I don't know if I'm going to use him immediately. I'm going to have to see what I do with the lines. Cody McLeod, not too big. But then here's a guy that I'm really excited for is Kevin Fiala. Now, I have heard claims that he should be up in NHL 17 GM modes. You should play him, put him up right away because, he's just going to be good in real life. I don't trust how he's going to be in real life versus Chell because we all know that it's different. So if I keep Fiala down in the system for maybe half the season, because, look at what Jake Gensel did for the Pittsburgh Penguins. The guy spends most of the season in the AHL and then becomes the most dominant playoff player the Penguins have over Sidney Crosby, who's yet to register, I think, who actually didn't register a shot on goal in the last game. So that's pretty interesting. But a very good 78 overall, medium top six, 20 years of age. So he's going to be definitely ready for next season, and I definitely think he's going to be one of our top players. Then we have Vladislav Kamenev, a medium top 9 forward, but he's 76 and 20, so he could become something. He's a sniper. So we got a couple snipers on the team, which is something I didn't really focus too much on during my Sabres GM mode, which could have been a downfall. And then the next guy to touch on is Jakob Treinen. He's the only other prospect we really have as far as actual potential. He's medium top 9, so it's not a great potential, but he's 64, playmaker 19, looks pretty well-rounded, shots all right, but we're going to have to see how this kid grows. He's 19. And then the weakest part of this team, in my opinion, is the center depth. Yes, they have Ryan Johansson, who is a fantastic playmaker on the first line with that passing and offensive awareness at 91, and he certainly doesn't lack anything defensively in the 85s there. Faceoffs at an 81. Shot is great, skating is great, and he's very physical, which is awesome. But after him comes Mike Fischer, who I honestly think would be a great third-line player. And then we'd have to put Ribeiro on the second line, which I'm not too thrilled about because he's a physical and defensive liability. His faceoffs are only at 70. I know he's got passing and offensive awareness up there where you want to see him, but I don't think that he's the kind of guy I want to keep around on this team too much longer. I want to get what I can for him, and I definitely think, like I said, I wrote some trades down. I wrote some trades down. He may or may not be part of some. I'll have to come to that decision in a second or two. And then Colton Citizens is the next guy. He scored a hat trick, I believe, in that clinching game against the Ducks, I want to say, in the Western Conference Finals. So he's a guy that stepped up in real life. Let's see if he can do it for us in this game. Medium top 9, which means he's not going to grow too quickly or grow too high, but he's a 22 years of age player. So he's definitely somebody worth looking out for. And that's it, guys. That's the recap of the Nashville Predators. And you know what? While we're here in the trade screen, I might as well throw my trades up on the board. And you guys are all going to go nuts here in just about 5 seconds when I put on the board what I'm going to put on. Yes, guys, that is Pekka Rinne. I'm throwing him on there. And also, I'm going to throw somebody on that you guys probably don't care about, but you guys are freaking out right now. Oh my God, he's trading away. He's trading away Rinne. How could he trade away Rinne? Blah, 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 and stuff like that. So there's Girard as well. He's a high AHL top 2. I'm not too concerned. But then, we are not going to change from the Anaheim Ducks, who I just said we beat in the Western Conference Finals in real life. I would almost say a rival. A lot of people don't like the Ducks, so they would hate to see Pekka Rinne go to this team. But for what we're getting, I'm going to be pretty happy with this trade, and I hope you guys are too. So Rickard Rakell is the guy I'm targeting here, a medium top 6 forward, 85, 23. This is the kind of potential and player I think Arvidsson should be. But he'll come in and slide in that second line center role as he's listed there. Like I mentioned, I want Mike Fischer and or Ribeiro on the third and fourth lines, so I don't think we have a really good playmaking second line center with young potential. The second line center of the future, the guy that's gonna step up when Johansson's getting rocked and bodied, and he's getting shut down. Rickard Rakell is that guy. I think that it would step up for us and be the guy to go ahead and put some points in for us, because he's got 87 on offensive awareness, and defensively he's pretty darn good too. So definitely a guy that I can see some growth from, and I can see him doing very well. And also, guys, since we are trading away Pekka Rinne, why not go ahead and acquire a future goalie in not Bernier, but Jonathan Gibson. 23 years of age, medium elite goaltender, already listed as a starter, 84 overall. This dude is 84 at 23 with medium elite. It's basically like everyone trades for Matt Murray and Vasilevsky. I know I did in my Buffalo Sabres GM mode. This is a guy that nobody really thinks about because, he's had up and down performances in the playoffs, but I personally think he's a very, very solid goalie on a very, very favorable contract. $2.3 million in salary for 3 years is fantastic for what I assume to be an elite goaltender of the future. Oh, shoot, they didn't add him on there. But yeah, 84, 23 medium elite, and medium top 6. And Rickard Rakell's contract, I'm fine with. 3.8 for a second-line center, I'm okay with for 6 years. I know long contracts kind of stunt growth, but I've seen him grow pretty well. I definitely think he's going to fill in that second-line center role just magnificently for our team. And there we go, guys. The first trade I have as a Nashville Predators GM is a very, very bold and ambitious one, and probably one that is going to get a whole bunch of you like, that's an awful trade. That's the worst trade I've ever seen. You're such a dumbass, Ryan. Why would you make that trade? Guys, I definitely think this getting Rickard Rakell and a stud goalie that's going to be as good as Rene in 1 to 2 years for much cheaper. Like, these two guys on the right don't even add up to Rene's salary. That's 6.1 on the right, and that's $7 million for Rene. Now I know these guys are tied up, but they're tied up for basically as long as Rene is. And of course we have to give up Girard, who's not. I didn't have any plans for him anyway. I didn't even touch on him. I didn't even look at him. So let's go ahead and propose this trade. Move up Pontus Aberg. Why not? Call him up to the AHL squad, and trade accepted. Now I might have alluded to this trade just a little bit earlier on in the video when I mentioned a guy like Mike Ribeiro. Not somebody I have in my plans, not somebody I'm really looking forward to having in the future. He's the odd man out here. I don't like him. He's not the two-way forward defensive. The reason I'm keeping Mike Fischer over him anyway is the face-offs in the defensive category is what we need, because now we have Rickard Rakell to be that offensive second-line center, so that leaves Ribeiro as my third or fourth-line center. I don't really want that as my third or fourth-line center. We're also going to have to give up a pick in this trade, but I definitely think that next year's third, which is what I'm going to throw on the board here, is worth this next player that I'm going to go get. Now, this adds to one of our strong suits, which is defense on the Nashville Predators. But this is a future defender, too. He's going to come in right away, and he's also going to grow, hopefully, for us. And he's perfect. I definitely think this is the guy you look for on your your top 6 defenseman, your number 5 guy, because we already have 4 guys that are better than he is, but he's got pretty good potential. You guys probably know that I've already stopped on this team, and you know who I'm trading for already. Some of you NHL, you guys out there that always do NHL and always know who to trade for. Cody Ceci. Now, I know he's a right-handed defenseman, and we already have Yannick Weber, who I said was going to be in the bottom 6 or in the top 6 on the third defensive pairing anyway, is also right-handed. But I don't know how much handedness matters when you simulate, because I'm not playing. So Cody Ceci, 87 passing, 83 offensive awareness, so that can grow. Defense is already good. So the reason I'm getting this guy is because he's a good two-way defender who's got pretty good defensive stats, is 22. I think he's going to grow at least 1 or 2 overall points. And I definitely think that he can already be the perfect bottom 6 defender. And with $2.8 million for 2 years left, that's a deal for me. I'll get rid of Ribeiro for a future stud defenseman. Well, hopefully a future stud, because he's elite potential. I'd like to see him grow a little bit. But the Nashville Predators' 3rd round pick next year, which I have no plans for anyway, and Mike Ribeiro for Cody Ceci. That's the other trade I'm going to make, guys. Ooh. Excuse me. Whoops. So maybe it was this year's 3rd that I had to throw on instead of next year's 3rd, but that's okay, because as you see down there, we are listed as a champion, so it's kind of nice to walk into a team as the champion already. But here we go, guys. Ribeiro and this year's 3rd for Cody Ceci. Sorry about that, guys. When I tried it before, it did work. But I'm going to give up this year's 3rd, next year's 4th, and Ribeiro for Cody Ceci. Hopefully this is going to go through. even though it's quite close to fair value, which probably means I'll just have to give up a 7th. And like I said, I didn't want to give up all of our assets. But I might just have to, because this is definitely a trade I'm loving. Yeah, why not give up next year's 6th as well? Let's see how close it is now. And there we go. Whew, so that almost looked really bad. I did do pre-scouting, guys. It did go through, like, just 5 minutes ago. I don't understand why it doesn't go through now, but there it is. It goes through now. I don't care if you guys think that's a bad trade. I think it's a good trade. We gave up very late-round picks for a guy that's going to be a top 6 defenseman, and Mike Ribeiro is gone off this team, and his contract is gone as well. And look at that. Cody Ceci is happy here. I'm really happy to see that because we have a very welcoming environment with a really hardcore, passionate fan base here in Nashville. I know you guys are out there. I know you Predators fans love your hockey. I'm so happy you guys are in the finals. Congratulations to you guys. But let's go ahead and edit the lines here, and you know what? That's the recap of this video. It should be anyway. I'll go ahead and show you guys who I'm calling up, who I'm sending down, and the final roster. So, if we go ahead and start from the back, build out from the back, we're going to use Gibson and keep Saros in as our backup, because who knows, Saros could have some decent growth and grow into maybe like an 83, 84, so a decent backup goaltender. And then, defensively, so we got Subban and Josi, Ellis and Ekholm, and then Ceci and Weber. So Irwin and Parenteau are both going to be sent down. I'm fine with that. Then we go ahead and go to forwards up in the NHL. As far as down here at the bottom with Cody McLeod, Colton Citizens, and Fiddler are going to be sent down. And Watson, Crook are both going to come up. And there we go, guys. That should be all the changes I'm going to need to make. I will hit best lines. You guys let me know what you think of the trades I made. I don't care. Give me some criticism. It's fine. I can accept criticism. I mean, I wouldn't post these videos if I didn't want you guys to critique me, because I want some help here. I definitely think, like, this team is pretty darn good. I'm really happy with the way it's looking right now. Actually, Crook is much better at faceoffs than, well, not much better, but he is better at faceoffs, so there we go. And defensively, I think this team is beautiful defensively. Josi and Subban, Ellis and Ekholm, and then Ceci and Weber. So a very, 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 very solid defensive core. Like I said, offensively, this first line is going to kill it. The second line is perfect, in my opinion. 85, 85, 85. That's right around what you want for your second line. The third line, I think, is pretty good. 84, 84, 83. And then the fourth line could use some work, but it's a bunch of young guys that can play right now that are pretty good two-way forwards and a playmaker in Calle Crook. And in goal, guys, the big controversy, John Gibson in goal for us. I know. You're giving up a 91 Rene and probably a shot at the Cup this season for the future. But if we make the playoffs and have a good run, I'm okay with not winning the Cup this season. I'm looking for multiple Cups. I'm looking to make this team a dynasty. I'm looking to make the Nashville Predators a true staple hockey town, one that rivals those in Canada. Yes, I said it. I'm going to try and make the Nashville Predators such a successful franchise that it rivals Canadian franchises. That's a bold statement, I know. In the middle of Tennessee versus like Hockey Central, Canada, Toronto, Montreal, Vancouver, Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg, Ottawa. All of those teams are going to be rivaled by the Nashville Predators. I know, bold statements. I made a lot of bold moves today, guys, and I'm going to accept every criticism. I'm going to accept every failure. So let me hear it, guys. Let me know your thoughts on our new team, the Nashville Predators, and the way we look heading into the season in the tough Central Division. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'm really excited to bring you guys this new series. Let's get it with our Nashville Predators. Make sure to subscribe if you want to see some more of your Nashville Predators, baby. And I will see you in the next one.